going on now. And hello, everybody. Welcome to Axie Chat, episode 40. Man, having some technical difficulties again. So weird. I think I'm just going to have to restart my computer, my whole setup before we start every time, just to make sure I don't lose devices. But hey, it's good to see everybody. And hey, look at this. We've got some awesome guests with us today. So excited. Good to see you. Oh my God, look at all the
Baronar,
subs. Thanks.
they are.
Thanks for the support.
Max is going crazy. They're claiming you're still muted. Is that true, guys? Can you just
You've got to
give
be
us
kidding
some
me.
confirmation in the chat? I need to hear. Is Baronar still muted? All right.
No way.
Odin
I
says you're
have
good. All
levels.
right, guys, listen.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been
God,
doing
no.
this. We've been doing this almost a year. We can't get it right still. That's all right. It's boomer issues. We keep talking about this. Guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We got some amazing guests today. We got the YGG squad. Before we get into this, I want to thank Dave versus Axie for starting off the night right and going into overtime for us while we were trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Dave, big thanks. You're killing it always. Again, we got YGG in the house. Baronar, you want to give the little intro here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell them who we got.
If it's okay, just before we do that though, I really wanted to take an opportunity just to quickly shout out my scholars. They sent me all of these photos, and I don't know if it's up for you guys yet on the stream, but they sent me some photos, and you know, one thing I see in common is this is a good-looking group of people. Just absolutely excited to be able to share this. Grateful that they were willing to let me. And again, this isn't all of them, but this is a good group of them. And I know they're pretty excited because they knew that YGG was going to be coming on, and Gabby, and you know, we've talked about the documentary and stuff. So I don't know. I was just really excited to show them. I want to tell them thanks and appreciate all the hard work they do. And I hope they're having a great time. It's been really awesome to be their manager, and wanted to give this quick shout out. So way to go. And then here we are. We've got Gabby and we've got Z. We want to welcome the special guests. We're
Thanks
really
for
excited.
having us.
Yeah, go Gabby.
No, it's great to be here, and yeah, just chatting with you guys, seeing your faces. Yeah, it's a real joy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Z, good to have you back.
Yeah, I just want to say, nice picture of me there. It's a nice little screenshot you took. No, it's awesome to be back. Always a great time on Axie Chat.
Awesome. Good. So hey, before we get into the news, and you know, we want you guys to stick around as long as you're willing to. We'll go through some of our normal Axie Chat stuff, but I know you guys wanted to give some YGG information. I've got some YGG questions as well. So let's get into that if you guys are good with that. And I'll just kind of move forward. So right out of the gates, what I wanted to ask about was the documentary. And Gabby, I know YGG was involved with this. Saw the post that you guys were involved with commissioning Ampharsis to produce this documentary, and you were directly involved. I mean, you were in the documentary. So cool. Enjoi knows I am just all sorts of excited about this documentary. I wish it would turn into like a reality TV series. I think it would be so awesome.
Right.
But go ahead, man. Tell us about it.
Okay, so the documentary actually came as an idea from a chat with the Delphi digital team. So Anil, who is our lead investor at Delphi, so they also designed the AXS token, right? And when we were starting out with YGG, yeah, he was like, wouldn't it be cool if we just told the stories of the scholars whose lives were being changed because of Axie Infinity and because of SLP? So he was actually the one that brought it up, and we were like, yeah, that's such a great idea. So I mean, I think even last year, a lot of us in the Axie community understood the power of scholarships and how they were kind of changing people's lives from around the world, especially here in my home country, the Philippines. But it's really different to be able to tell that story from the people themselves whose lives were being changed, like from the people who found Axie, who later became scholars. So we kind of ran with that idea, and we talked to Imparsi. So Leah, So she was the one who originally wrote the CoinDesk article that put Axie in the spotlight, and this was in September last year. I mean, if you guys remember how crazy for us, and yeah, like so many new people just kept on coming every day. People who were trying to escape kind of the lockdown, trying to look for money online, and like here in the Philippines, especially in Cabanatuan City, where the documentary was featured, like people found their escape from basically from hunger, from poverty because of Axie. So they started finding Axie. They saw on their Facebook groups that people were posting about like the money that they were earning, like the stuff that they were buying because they were able to sell SLP. And people just came in droves and just started coming in all day. And it was just a crazy experience. Like during that time, I was selling Axie teams to people kind of all day. And they were paying me Philippine pesos in exchange because they hadn't onboarded any Ether yet. A lot of them couldn't afford to pay, and I gave them teams anyway. And I'm like, yeah, just give me money when you can afford it after you've made some money with SLP. And to my surprise, like in 2 or 3 weeks, they had actually come up with the money, and they've made enough to pay for the team. And of course, like Ether was a lot cheaper then, right? And SLP price was kind of surging then. So like the conditions changed, but like just the fact that a lot of people were able to have a better life and basically an escape from kind of the really dire conditions of the lockdown last year, it was amazing. And that was actually what really that experience directly led to the formation of YGG.
Yeah, that's so incredible. I I'm so excited to hear more about YGG as well specifically. This was
Uh-huh.
just an amazing thing. It was not only was it kind of a tribute, and really awesome to see what was going on in the Philippines, but it was just really exciting to see the actual lives of people, like you said, and see how it's impacting their lives. And there was a real human aspect to it. And like I was telling Enjoi, I really want to know more about how things are going for the different people that were featured. And so I know that it's been on Twitter a few times where it's given some more information about some of those people, like their stories, and I really like that. I hope that continues. I really do. But let's go ahead and move into YGG more specifically. Maybe hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know what I don't think anybody heard, but I had to completely reboot my system, and so I got to make sure I've got all this stuff right. So hold on. If you want, while I'm making sure I've got everything working, the next thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was you guys hit 1,000 scholars. Is that right? I think I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, correct,
Yep,
correct.
that's right.
And I also noticed that you guys said you're headed towards 10,000, or that's the goal next, right? Pretty cool.
That's the goal before end of year. And we are also just about to hit 10 million SLP earned like across all of our scholars.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
awesome.
I've been keeping track of that number as it's been, we've been seeing announcements occasionally. And I feel like, those numbers along with the Axie's bread has just been, blowing up. So whether it's, the overall just Axie ecosystem, or the amount of scholars that are coming in, it just feels like everything's growing exponentially.
Yeah, we are breeding like crazy. And like the craziest thing is that we're not selling a single Axie from what we're breeding. We're all doing it to support the growth in the scholarship so that we can just onboard more. Like everyone who's working with us on the scholarships, the managers like, Kuku, AK, like they have basically hundreds of people on their wait list. There's just so many people that want to come in and start earning money with Axies and earn SLP. And yeah, we're trying to do our best to kind of go much faster so that we can work with everyone that we can.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, What I'm hearing is you've already got 1,000 scholars, hundreds in the wait list. I know whenever I visit the Axie Discord or even on Twitter lately, it just seems like everybody's looking for a way into the game. Like the word is spreading. This is a great way to pull in some income and be involved in something bigger. How quickly are those people finding you guys? Is YGG like a household name at this point? Or are people just funneling through your doors? How's that acquisition going?
So a lot of it is happening via Facebook groups. And I guess for a lot of you in the US that probably don't see these Facebook groups, these are like extremely viral in the Philippines, and a lot of people are finding us. And we also have one a game streamer in the Philippines, Sheila Snow, that we're working with, that who's playing Axie a lot and kind of giving attention to the game. And yeah, this is pretty much where most of the people in the Filipino community find us. And from there, they hop onto the Discord, they go on the Twitter, and yeah, like a lot of people cannot wait to play. I mean, for a lot of our community, like where we are now, like 70,000 players total, 400K Axies, it feels like a lot, especially if you've been around 2 or 3 years in this game. Let me
Sure.
tell you, we are only at the very beginning. This ain't nothing compared to where we're going to be in the next 2 to 3 years.
Sure. And I want to ask you some of the big picture questions, but I know Baronar's got slides for everything, so I'm going to hold off on that. I am curious though, because we've been seeing a lot of this news about people in the Philippines who are, kind of supplementing their income with this. What are your demographics look like? Are people coming from all over the world? Is it mostly Philippines still at this point?
So yeah, majority are still Philippines, but we've got a huge community in Indonesia as well. And I want to say hi to Papuyu, who's listening right now and typing away. India is starting to grow. We have a growing LATAM community. We've got like I don't know how many, but we had a bunch of calls in Venezuela, starting up in Brazil. Yeah, it's just growing really fast from all corners of the world. And like I'd like to take Venezuela as an example. Like from what I've heard from some of my friends over there, the the salary that people earn is something like between $1 to $50 a month, which is kind of crazy. And for them, earning SLP and like inflation is really bad over there. SLP is probably a more stable form of currency than their local currency. And the fact that they can earn money in crypto is basically just really life-saving for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, SLP is kind of pegged to the US dollar, right? There's still a little bit of volatility. But you're right. I mean, we've heard a lot about the inflation. We've heard a lot about the issues with the government, and it's just eating away at the local supply, and which is pushing a lot of people towards crypto down in Venezuela. But that makes a lot of sense. This is an easy way to access work that is more global. Another question that I've got is, it sounds like you've got maybe scholarship managers. Is that the right term in each of these different locations? I mean, one of the big issues with this sort of thing, with trying to create something as global as YGG, is you've got all these people coming from different places in the world speaking different languages. I'm assuming there's a lot of communication going on as well, correct?
Yeah, so I guess of course, like YGG didn't invent the scholarship model. It was already around when we started. One of the ways that we innovated on it so that we could scale it is that instead of us working with scholars directly, we work with scholarship managers from around the globe, and we give them, the axes, the kind of smart contracts and the bots. So we give them the infrastructure so that they can pretty much just grow the number of scholars, take care of them, make sure that they are earning well, learning the game better, instead of having to deal with a lot of the back end issues such as like syncing, having to breed, or even just coming up with the money to breed. So we do all of that in the back end. Like we breed axes like crazy. We have smart contracts that send axes to the accounts. We have like hundreds of new accounts being created every day. So we are taking care of the infrastructure to scale so that our managers, all they really need to think about is, taking care of their scholars.
Gotcha. Now, maybe we can jump into, because I think Baronar is still having issues. I don't see any slides up on the screen. Maybe we
Yeah,
can
I
jump
don't
into
know
a
what's
little
going
bit more
on.
of
I'm working on it. Hold on.
of an overarching like big picture. Like, what is YGG? You know, explain it for people who haven't heard of it or have really delved into it deeper. Can you give a bigger picture of like what is the vision? What made you start this? What are you trying to accomplish here?
Sure, but before I give the big picture, I want to say hi to Big Crit and Binary. Yeah, so we're a play, and obviously most of what we're doing right now is centered around Axie. But I think if you really zoom out, what we're doing is that like the future of work is changing. The nature of jobs are changing, and I think all of us who've been in the Axie community for a while can feel this. Like there are some people in our community who've been doing nothing but play Axie for the last 2-3 years, and they actually are sitting on kind of a nice amount of crypto right now, right? But yeah, if you zoom out, a lot of people are actually losing jobs worldwide, losing their jobs to automation, to artificial intelligence, to robots. The minimum wage isn't going up. So it seems that like on the surface, we're headed towards a dystopian future where people are basically going to lose jobs. And what are they going to do? So that's where I think that kind of the virtual worlds and the metaverse comes in. So it's not that we're losing jobs, it's that like the nature of work itself is changing. More people are going online. And while right now we're trying to make money by staring at websites and then, typing some words there and hoping that someone buys it, like whether, you're a streamer, you're doing freelance writing, more and more of that work will be in virtual worlds. So in other words, we won't be staring at like Facebook or a Twitch via website interface. I think in, like down the line, maybe 5 to 10 years, we'll be going in games, virtual worlds, 3D VR worlds, and that's where we'll be finding our work. So it might be providing player liquidity as what we're doing with Axie, where people are coming there providing depth to the multiplayer and earning SLP in exchange, which is a resource that is used in game, which is why it has value. It might be that people are going to be avatar designers. People might be creating buildings inside our land. Like you might be the best Axie real estate agent, right? So yeah, like a lot of these new jobs are coming into the metaverse, and what YGG wants to do is to onboard as many people as possible into this new metaverse economy. So right now it's Axie. We have lands in League of Kingdoms, we have lands in Sandbox, we've invested in some upcoming games as well. Yeah, and we're even participating in a few NFT sales this week. So yeah, we want to buy the assets around the metaverse that are productive and then lend them out to our player community so that they can earn money from them. So yeah, that's what we want to do.
So I was
That's
able to
awesome.
get a
That's
few
awesome.
things up here, and I don't know what happened. I think, unfortunately, my slides died and went away. So we're gonna just kind of roll with it today. But I do have some of these great images that you guys showed me. It looks like this is the demo or what you guys are headed to for your website. And so I pulled this up, and I'm just really looking forward to what I see here.
I see you were able to squeeze some really good leaks from Z.
Good. Yeah, well, yeah, we try hard. We try hard. So yeah, I see, on this left column, the selection column side, we have like inventory, adventures, quests, YGG tokens, subscriptions, staking, and then a DAO. Man, that just all that's so exciting. And you've been talking a lot about kind of the theory, the ideas behind YGG. This looks like maybe a little bit more of the practical application of how you guys intend to present it and have people interface with it. Maybe tell us a little bit about what the goal here is. I mean, obviously we're not holding you to anything. This is all in kind of beta format or alpha even format, but man, way cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without going into too much detail, and I'll let Z kind of walk through the website. Like we want players to be able to come in and play with the games that we're partnered with and be able to earn resources from them. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna turn it over to Z at this point.
Yeah. So considering what Gabby said about, players interacting with the metaverse, that's something, Gabby and I talked about. And, we realized our future is really an online digital future. And so, YGG, it started with Gabby and this whole concept behind play to earn and creating like a complex, comprehensive like guild that works together. And we've kind of just been building on that idea. And so what we've thought about with YGG and what we've been designing YGG around is essentially, and if you can go back to the landing page, if you can,
Yeah, you bet.
it's really what YGG really aims to be kind of this your portal into the metaverse. And so we're supporting all of these different games like Axie Infinity, League of Kingdoms, the Sandbox. And so we're building systems around the. So essentially, think of it like YGG is going to be a third layer on top of these games for people to interact with and to also kind of play to earn as well.
Man, that's so exciting.
Yeah. And so the idea behind here for the landing page is you connect your wallet, and again, without going into too much detail, people they will have to create a YGG guild badge, and this guild badge will be an NFT. This NFT will be used to track certain things, and it'll also act as essentially a wallet as well. So basically, your guild badge is going to be essentially your not only your point system, but also it can be linked to your reputation. It can be linked to a lot of different things.
That's really unique. I mean,
incredible.
that's a different use case than I've heard from, most NFTs at this point. We've seen the access pass, right? But is that actually acting as an access pass to your wallet, or is there some other additional technology behind it there?
Yeah,
As
it's the same
Alan has just
idea.
reminded us in chat, yeah, the guild badge allows you to interact with the YGG ecosystem. So yeah, that's pretty much like a membership badge that allows you to get all of the goodness within YGG. So you have to be a member, and right now the membership is pretty open. You just can hop on our Discord and start interacting. But for us to be able to give rewards out to people, you'll be needing that guild badge once we launch it later this year.
Okay, awesome. That's
Well, the art's
that's really cool.
fantastic too. I don't know who you
Yep.
guys have doing the art, but that's just incredible. It looks so nice.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the benefits of YGG is, and one of the other ideas of YGG is essentially like a DAO, and we try and find talent within this DAO and build upon that. And we give people, if they have an idea, if they're talented, they come to us and they're saying, hey, like we have this really like cool idea for artwork, for our website. And so a lot of the times, I think one of the benefits of operating in this way is a lot of times solutions come to you and you find out unique ways to reward these people, whether it's with, different types of cryptocurrencies or other, models. Like in the future, you could reward work with just gaming assets if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So it looks like not only have you thought about those sorts of aspects, but you're also kind of making it. To me, it feels like at least what I saw, that it almost feels like a game in and of itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the idea behind
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Like if you think of the metaverse as kind of a game layer over like just different gaming worlds, we are trying to be the portal of that and have our own metagame layer on top of Axie, on top of Formula One, on top of League of Kingdoms. So people are going to have, I would say, another layer of earning rewards as long as they do things that kind of help the community at YGG.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things like to add on, so when I was being hired, Gabby he told me my position would be the guild master. Like he didn't like use a he didn't use like, oh, you're gonna be, a COO or you're gonna be a head of operations. He's like, yeah, you're essentially just gonna be a guild master. And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Like like you're gonna pay me to be a guild master.
Hell
But
It's a
yeah.
nice
that
job
also
description.
yeah, but that also like sparked a lot of ideas in my brain because it took me back to my days in World of Warcraft. Took me back to my days, when I was doing like theory crafting and like group chats and StarCraft, and even back in my TCG days. And so, really, this idea, you guys nailed it on the head there, is we have this guild, but you can almost treat it as like an MMORPG guild and gamify the whole experience, like of the whole metaverse. And so, I think that's in a nutshell what kind of YGG is there.
That's incredible. So how much do you want to go into? So from this page, I'm looking at it. I'm going, wow, this is incredible. So choose your adventure. You have all the different options that are available to YGG guild members. What's the plan here? Like you click on it and you're going right into the game mode, or is it an interface that you're going to see? Or am I asking too many high level questions? Am I asking for too many leaks? Or I mean, technically this looks so cool. Okay, so I mean, and I know that you guys have brilliant ideas and you're really excited, but is that kind of the concept? Like, do you want the guild members to kind of focus in particular games, or are they going to be kind of like, hey, I'm an avid sandbox player, so I'm going to spend my time in the sandbox section of YGG. I'm an avid Axie Infinity player, obviously. I'm going to spend my time in Axie Infinity.
So one of the biggest clues that we can give is the stuff that's going on with League of Kingdoms now. So we bought an 86 land estate in League of Kingdoms, and we created a token that represents a fractional ownership of that estate called the YGG LOK token. And so instead of having our guild members buy lands for themselves, they basically bought into this token at the same price as if they were buying the land, which makes them a fractional owner of the estate. And we put up a snapshot page so that the guild members basically have governance over what happens to that estate. And I think only one governance measure has been passed so far, where we collected the yield as DAI coming from that estate, and then we turned it into C DAI so that the yield is earning yield. But those are the things that we want to do with the assets of all of the games partnered with. We call it sub-DAOs. And without going into too much detail, we want the active players of each sub-DAO to be kind of directly invested in the assets in that game, because it's the players themselves who are building value. Like if you do the work in League of Kingdoms, if you play it, if you do the rallies, you're building value, you're accruing revenue to the estate, you're accruing value to the guild and to this sub guild specifically. So we want that to happen for each game, because you can't wander in and say, oh, like I don't know like which game I want to be part of. There's too many games. You want to feel like you're still part of a small community, and having these sub DAOs is for a way for us to reward people who care about maybe one specific game. They'll be active in that game, they build value, and they kind of accrue value in the form of the tokens that they hold, that is like a part ownership of that game that we're playing.
This is really interesting, and it almost reminds me in a way of like the early yield farming days, right? Where somebody would stake something on curve, and then they'd take whatever they got out of curve and they'd stake it on cream, and they'd have these like giant chains of staking and whatever, and be able to get these massive yields. And now I feel like we're almost seeing the same thing, right? Because if you're going through YGG to play Axie Infinity, you're a part, you're building ownership in Axie Infinity. But it also sounds like you're now also building ownership in YGG, and then also within this kind of sub guild that owns the Axie Infinity estate. Am I getting that right? It almost feels very complex, but like kind of really cool in a way too.
Yeah, we want the guild to feel small, because with a Discord chat with 12,000 members, like it's easy to get lost. So you really have to kind of hone in on what specific game do you care about that you're playing with a group of people, and how will you reward those people who are playing that game, who are accruing value to that game. And as for your comment on yield farming, so this actually started when Owl and I were yield farming very heavily in June of last year. So this is where the idea came from. Like Owl and I were just kind of like yield farming, figuring out how things work, figuring out how Yearn work, liquidity pools, curve, and all of that. And when the kind of SLP craze came, when the price shot up and a lot of members came in, and especially a lot of people from the Philippines came in, that's kind of where we got the idea to kind of combine what we were doing with yield farming and like collecting SLP to form YGG.
Another question that I had, and the slide just dropped off my screen for some reason, but I saw the word quests on the side there. Is there any chance you can elaborate on what that means? I've got some ideas, but I don't want to.
Hey, I'll
Misconstrue.
forward the slide to the next picture, and then I think that's even more relevant.
There we go.
Yeah, this is Zeus baby, so I'll let him talk about it.
So yeah, when I talked about creating a third layer on top of these play to earn games, this is going to be a huge factor in that. You can use your imagination on what quests are. I mean, if you've played MMOs, if you've played, any MMO, you know what a quest is. And yeah, so you can use your imagination here on what a quest in Axie would be, especially once we hit land gameplay. I think that'll be really interesting, something really interesting to look at. Even in the arena system, that kind of stuff. So I think I'm not going to go into too much detail before it's ready, but what we can say here, I think, is that quests are going to be like that third layer where people can do these quests and earn additional rewards.
That's cool.
That's so incredible. That's so cool. And I mean, presumably we're talking about maybe, I don't know. And again, you don't want to go into too much detail, but like the YGG token, maybe other rewards and different things that are, I mean, my mind goes wild whenever I think about that type of stuff and gets me really, really excited. That's super cool.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not going to leak anything specific, but we have YGG exclusive NFTs. You can use your imagination on the potential of having like potentially the YGG, what maybe a ring or something, what that could entail with yield farming. You can add certain affixes to these NFTs. So yeah, think of a huge gamified MMORPG experience, but being able to yield farm at the same time.
By the way, Owl wants to
That's
join
so
the
cool.
call. Can we get him in?
Yeah, I'm trying to add him right now.
Uh-oh.
Who are
Owl
we bringing
coming in
in?
with the lead.
We got the whole YGG team here.
Oh, Owl is up?
I think
Oh my
I
gosh.
was looking into it. Yeah, man.
I think Owl is bringing some giant leaks with him. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll figure this out. I guess maybe it's a good thing things went wild because we're just going to have to go with it, right? So cool.
Yeah.
All right. If we're adding another person, I'm gonna move myself down here.
I told him to accept my friend request, and he's like, "I've got 100. I gotta sort through." So he'll be here in a second.
Well, and thanks everybody for being patient with all this. I feel just so bad that my slides crapped out. It's really, really frustrating. I spend all day getting ready for Axie Chat, and then when something like that happens, it's really rough. So bear with us. We're making it happen. Let's see our next slide. Let's see if we want to move on while we. Oh, it looks like we're getting Al coming in.
Just in the house.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
We got you loud and clear.
Very nice. How you guys doing?
What's going on now?
Hey.
Dude, I think we've we've talked a million times on Discord. I don't think I've ever heard your voice though. This is
No,
crazy.
yeah. It's the first time I hear you guys. Well, I hear you guys all the time on Axie Chat, but yeah,
In
never
person, live.
to speak to you guys.
It looks like we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you just sound, or are you gonna hop on video, Al?
I don't have video here,
Okay,
sadly.
no worries. Okay, I'm just gonna fix things around again. Go ahead and keep
Owl
going.
is not a real person, so that's why he doesn't have video.
Yes,
He's just a being on the internet.
I love it. That's hilarious.
AI coder genius.
No, come on. I could use my webcam, but that means using my MacBook, and I don't have access to the good mic.
No, you're good. You're fine, man. We're
No,
just
that's
glad.
fine.
We're
That's
just glad that
fine.
we have you here.
All good. It's great. It's great that you guys are having us. It's really cool. Thanks for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, so we've got you here, Al. What are you going to share with us? What do you have YGG wise that you want to let us know?
I don't know. There's so many things that YGG can scale to. and it's just not just games. It's beyond games really. Um, I guess I can just like kind of leak like high level stuff about what we want YGG to become, in the medium and long term, because it doesn't really entitle giving many specifics, and it can kind of give you, where we're trying to head at specifically. And it's the kind of thing we like to talk about in our, weekly calls. And it's the fact that, YGG what YGG is trying to aim to become, at least I'd like it to be, is similar to, being a guild. A social network is really something that I can see being a reality, because there's so many people that we can onboard with this play to earn experience all around the world, because there's always going to be opportunity to make, value, to get some money, to get rewards. And in general, people will always be attracted to, getting some money out of something. You can see it with the scholarships with Axie and SLP. It's been a lifesaver to so many people around the world, specifically in, emerging countries like Philippines, Venezuela, Indonesia. And it's so awesome to think that, YGG right now, we have around 1,000 scholars, and we're generating around maybe 250K or 300K SLP every day. And
Every single fucking day.
That's
and
amazing.
70% goes to the scholars, and there's a percentage that goes to the managers as well. And we keep a very small amount that, we just put into breeding Axies. And if we scale this to other games, there's, F1, there's Sandbox, there's Zrun, there's Amber Sword, all those games where, we can provide the correct infrastructure to people. And we start having, this army, this guild, of players that, are always looking to, try the latest games where you can get something out of it more than just playing, which is like a unique experience by itself. And if we start to have this big enough mass, then you kind of start to direct, people are trying to look at you, think, damn, like if we make a game, we want to target YGG. And this is where, for example, YGG could become, for example, an advisor to make play-to-earn games. People come to us and be like, okay, what kind of system do we want to set up into our game to adapt to you guys. And this is where, this is a different click, where instead of us adapting to people, to games, it's the games that adapt to what we're trying to provide. And because this is the moment where we're going to have 10,000 or 100,000, players, and bringing this much amount of players to a game is just going to, allow the game to develop, to see how things are working. And it gives them, so much valuable data in terms of what they can do into the game. And this is just one aspect of what YGG can become. And, this is really broad, of course, but it's not too far off, because, all the games currently that are being developed, I'll take F1 because, it is a prime candidate of where we want to support later on, because of their, their nature of being very easy to integrate with play to earn. If somehow we can, help them develop their system to add, delegation of assets, it'll be super easy for us to, build on top of what they're doing and allow players to play with, F1 games, racing games. And this would also, feed a different type of players. Axie is an amazing game. It's awesome, but maybe some people like, racing. I love racing games. Like, I'm a huge fan of F1, for example. And lack of time, coding too much nowadays. But if I could, I definitely would, try to play a bit more F1 Delta time, because it looks really promising. And when you have those legendary items, then you definitely want to go into the top 10, top 5, top 1 if you try to. So yeah, I mean, and this is just two aspects. I could think of so many more. And one thing, and lastly, something we want to really heavily focus into this year is esports. YGG is so well connected to being able to create this massive esports scene. For example, with Axie is again prime candidate. V2 of Axie Battles is coming, and with how we're, strategically placing funds, thanks to what Gabby said earlier, we were doing a lot of revealed farming in the early days, and our team has a lot of experience into trying to, invest, money into secure farms. Shout out to Earn Finance if some of the people there, they make amazing products. And, say we put, some amount of money into a Yearn Vault and we wait like a couple months, we can easily end up with, 10,000, 20,000 USD price pool
Wow.
for some tournaments. And
Yeah.
and this, and then it becomes real. And it becomes even more real when you can think about having like 3 or 4 of those events in a year, for example. And that's definitely something I'd like to push, because we haven't seen yet too much esports with crypto related games, and if we can be the first, then it'd be a great advantage. And being connected to esports, it's also connecting to like more mainstream players and streamers, which can then have the snowball effect of explaining to the world blockchain games are here to stay, and they have so much cool utility things that don't exist necessarily into, I don't want to call them more centralized games, but you get the picture. Like,
Yeah,
it's the whole idea of NFT games. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's a couple leaks I can
If we
talk
can
about.
start supercharging the rewards for esports, then the best players in Axie Infinity, which may or may not come from YGG, it can come from the other teams, will be receiving like much larger prizes, and it would be possible to kind of make a living as an Axie esports player, and I think that would be amazing for everyone.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's really interesting to me that's kind of just occurred is, and we're seeing it with the documentary that was released the other week, right? Is you're almost incentivized. YGG as a whole is incentivized to grow the whole play to earn space, right? The more people you have coming into this ecosystem, and the stronger that these games grow, the more profit you're going to be making, the more profit that the scholars are going to be making. Everything kind of just snowballs. So you helping out the space is helping out you in return, and that's one of the coolest things I think I've seen being part of Axie, being part of some of these other games that are up and coming, is you really are incentivized to help grow it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if we're competing with another group to onboard more scholars into Axie, it just means that we're racing towards how many people are going to help combine, right? So I love that kind of competition. Like, as we're onboarding more scholars, more people into Axie Infinity, even though we might be competing in the sense that, like, I have my scholars, you have your scholars, I have my esports team, you have your esports team. We're actually growing the pie together for play to earn. So it's win-win across the board.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, right? Because there's some people who are watching who may have zero interest in becoming part of YGG, and they're wondering why this is important. And one, I
It's
think
huge.
the growth of the metaverse in general, the connecting of all these games into one solid platform is a huge step in and of itself. But the growth of the whole space is very important as well. So even if you're not involved with this in particular, it is something that's going to be growing your experience and augmenting what we all experience going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to take a play to earn to the mainstream. Like Axie's already doing an amazing job at this. Like, shout out to
Oh, yeah.
Geo, Psych Out, Trung, the entire team. And yeah, just think of us as just kind of another push to help take the game and the community to the next level.
Well,
Overall, we're just
yeah, go ahead. No, Z, go.
yeah, sorry. No, I just wanted to add one thing
Or
about,
Al, go.
IGG is more, we're just like enablers. Like, we just want to enable games, and their success will be our success. Because if the game is really doing really well, then it just shows how we saw this, we saw the potential, and by supporting it, we just push them even higher, and by them going higher, they pull us with them. And so that's really how I see what GG is. Just, we always try to see what game has potential, and by supporting it, we push it up to the light where it should be, and we'll and this is where we'll reap the rewards and allow the players and everyone to share those rewards with us, pretty much.
Well, and what I think is also kind of cool with the YGG model, I mean, we're Axie Maxies, we're here on Axie Chat, we're all about Axie, but I think it's really cool because, you take that opportunity and you blend it across, and can be good for everybody that's in your guild across the board. So, people who are involved in F1 and some of the other ones will all be brought up by the Axie players. And that's good, you know, that the Axie players will rescue all the rest of your. I'm just kidding around. I hope you guys understand I'm joking around, but I think it is awesome that you're incorporating other NFT projects, other NFT games, and really just exploring the total space. Really, really cool. Doing it in a way that makes sense for people to be able to focus into different activities. You know, I was I was in a chat with somebody who specifically focused on other games, not Axie, and you know, kind of feel like they missed the boat. And this way, I think you kind of have an overall pool of people who, you know, maybe it's really good, because you never know what project is going to take off. I mean, I think we've all kind of learned that we don't know for sure which projects are going to be the projects that really take off, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it all depends about, mechanics in game, tokenomics, and light changes could make or break a game. And you never know what can be done, and it just takes one really good idea and the game can blow. So it's as you said, it's just having the right people to help us find out those games. And in our team we have amazing people that do a great job into researching those new type of games and saying, yeah, this potential in this, we should definitely put this in our watch list. And as you said, Axie, and I know you were joking, but there's some truth in what you say. Axie is putting the path to how things should be done, and it just makes sense to follow them. There's such a massive bulldozer into the NFT, seeing that it would be a waste not to follow what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So a few more things that we want to make sure that we show, because we're excited for these leaks and to be able to show this to people. I think what we're seeing here, Z, maybe you can tell us more, or Owl. What do we see here?
Yeah, so this is just what the website is going to look on mobile. So essentially the same thing, but one thing as we were designing the website is we wanted to make sure, and we recognize that actually a lot of our players are purely on mobile. So we wanted to make sure that the website and the interactions that people are going to do on the website are also seamless on mobile. So that's essentially what you're seeing here.
Awesome. It just, again, so clean, so beautiful, such great art. Just looks really slick. I'm really excited to see this happen. And then you did share with us just a little teeny tiny bit of the white paper. So just in case people are wondering if YGG is just kind of floating along, or just kind of trying this out, rest assured, they only allowed us to see page 5 of this white paper. We don't know for sure what it is, but everybody knows that they've had big investors that have gotten in YGG. And not only does YGG have really big investors that have gotten involved, they've also turned around and invested in projects as well. YGG has, which is incredible. And maybe Gabby, do you want to talk to that a little bit, maybe?
Sure. So it started with our experience with Axie, where we started buying NFTs. We actually bought a decent amount of AXS in, I would say, November, December, which has grown to a kind of nice, really nice, tidy amount as the price has grown. And we realized that working with teams earlier in development, even before the games are released, kind of helps both YGG and these teams, because like we can help bring up excitement via AMAs, for example, via getting the YGG community on their Discord. We can kind of take a look at how the play to earn tokenomics look like, because we just see a lot of these games. And so we've started investing in games that aren't even out yet. And like I don't want to talk too much about those, because I think there's a bunch of different games coming up that we're really excited about. But yeah, just coming in earlier means that we can actually provide a lot more support to these games as they're ready to launch.
So awesome. All right. So one of the things that I noticed here when I was reading through just what we have here, again, it's this focus on trying to combine the NFT concept with the DeFi concept. And to me, I'm really excited to see how that works. I know that with Axis, we kind of have a model that makes a lot of sense, where the land kind of is the ability, it sounds like, to gain tokens and other tasks in Axie Infinity universe. So in a way, it's kind of creating a staking model. It kind of sounds like we're talking about something similar to that with YGG as well. Is that did I read that kind of right here on this page?
Yeah,
I think
guess. Oh, go on,
it
Gabby.
would, yeah, like it will tie a lot into the quest rewards that you see in the website. Like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, all I say about this and add is we've only really touched the surface of what is actually going to be on this white paper, and so this is one of those white papers, and I don't mean to shill my own product, but I legitimately feel this way. This is one of those white papers you really want to read because a lot of the concepts we've come up with, a lot of the structure we've came up with is really innovative as how they pertain to play to earn economies and specifically how YGG is going to operate as well. So
It's so awesome. I'm so excited for YGG. I'm so excited to see what it's going to do for Axie Infinity as well. Just how you guys are taking this so seriously, such a great business model. Looking forward to see. I mean, YGG clearly is on track for success, and I'm glad to see a big focus of it is Axie Infinity. All right.
I can give it a leak, which shouldn't give too much idea, but if people in the chat understand how urn vaults work, just try to think how you could apply play to earn, and that's what we're trying to solve with YGG. So little food for thoughts right there.
Well, I like it because I've talked a lot about how basically, earning SLP and play to earn in general is kind of a different model than, proof of work or proof of authority or proof of stake or any of those sorts of things, or even just staking. I've always kind of called it proof of effort. Some human effort went into whatever was necessary in order to gain those particular tokens. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying, Al, and I think that's super cool. Because it takes that to one more step further with respect to that kind of proof of effort model, moving it into that urn vault kind of concept as well. Way cool.
Yeah, definitely. You got the picture right there.
So this was posted on Twitter. Really excited about the advisory board. My prior slide that I didn't have to just hack to get up here had the people who were all involved with the advisory board. Does anybody want to talk about the advisory board? The one that I was most excited about was Psych Out, but I also saw, and I forgot his name from Delphi Digital,
Yeah.
Anil, right?
Anil.
Yeah. So yeah, let me talk about our advisors, and they play like very specific roles to helping YGG scale. I think everyone here knows Psych Out, and apart from what he brings because he's one of the co-founders of Axie, he also brings kind of a lot of depth of experience in just thinking about play to earn in general. So we kind of use him as a sounding board, also not only within Axie, but also looking at like the other games that are coming up that YGG might want to participate in. Anil has been kind of part of YGG since pretty much the very beginning. Like he was the first investor that I pitched to. I think it was back in September when kind of Axie and SLP was blowing up, and it was precisely because they had designed the Axis token that I knew that he would immediately understand what a play to earn gaming guild was. Honestly, like now it seems like a little bit more obvious, but when we were pitching it to investors in September, like a lot of people really didn't understand it, and because like no one had really created something like this before. And yeah, Anil just got it because they dug really deep into the economy of Axie Infinity, and they knew how powerful the scholarship program was, right? So Joe, Substrate, I met him through the Yearn community, and he's been an incredible resource in just thinking about DeFi and thinking about decentralization. So as as YGG grows, as the community grows, we'll be looking for him to kind of figure out like how do we become a really strong decentralized like community driven effort, right? And finally, Eric Arsenault is actually one of the first persons that helped me like figure out the concept of YGG as a DAO. Now, as a DAO, like we're actually kind of taking it slowly. We only have what like one sub DAO right now, so we're not like one of those protocols that are trying to be a full DAO upfront because we want to impart as founders first as the team like a vision of where we want YGG to be and kind of have the community understand that and help us build that. And as YGG grows and we have the community members that we can really lean on to kind of help impart those values, I think we would want to decentralize YGG further and kind of have more broad-based community decision making. But first, we're starting that with the sub DAOs and in particular with League of Kingdoms and the YGG allocate token. But yeah, you can expect more decentralization efforts, especially on the games, individual games, as we go along.
So cool. All right. So hey, before we move on to just kind of wrap things up, I don't want to keep you guys, forever or anything like that. But I want to make sure that the YGG group has gotten the opportunity to say what they want to say. I know I keep trying to push you to say more than you want to say, but I also want to make sure that all three of you have had an opportunity to say, what you want to say. And what I'll do is I'm going to go in reverse order. I'm going to go with Al first, then Z, then Gabby. Okay, so Al, final thoughts.
God, so much pressure right there. I'm pretty happy with what I've shared. I've shared enough leaks. I could I could just ramble on to be honest, but we might go into the territory of stuff we can't really say much about yet. So no, just keep on following us. We're really appreciative of all the the feedback and all the people that are looking forward to see what we're building and I'm just happy overall that we've managed to help so many people, go through the COVID times. And this is, the type of thing that you always kind of like want to try to do, like, try to help the world. And just the fact that it just randomly happened uh, is even more fulfilling. So yeah, super, waking up and thinking I'm helping so many people just, with some code, it's just some lines of code when you think about it, but it helps people and it makes the day this much better. So
Excellent. All right, Z.
I might be in trouble already, so no more leaks for me. But what I will say to piggyback off of Owl there is I think play to earn, good play to earn economies are inherently like they inherently have like value loops. And so I'm really happy with the structure we're building around YGG, kind of adding a third layer on top of that. And yeah, I just feel very, very proud that we're building structures that, we're not maliciously targeting people to sell a product. I mean, at the end of the day, what's happening are these really complex value loops where, players are able to learn a living. I'm able to earn a living. Games are getting exposure from these players. And yeah, you create just so many different types of forms of value this way. And so I'm just really happy with the direction YGG is going and really recommend people to read the white paper when it comes out. And I think with that, I'll hand it with Gabby and maybe he can throw a few leaks if he wants to.
No more leaks. But I mean, for everyone in the Axie community, I just really want to say that you guys, we are living in the future right now. Like what started out as a small hobby of some weird people who were playing with NFTs a couple of years ago, now it's an entire movement. And play to earn is this movement that we are sharing with the rest of the world. So it's still pretty small right now as far as the game industry is concerned, but if you like go forward 2, 3, 5 years, I'm pretty certain that play to earn is going to be the next big trend that's going to take over the entire world. Like I can see a world where there are maybe like 10 million people playing Axie and going into the metaverse. So all of us here right now, we're at the very start of this movement. And like we're just really fortunate to be in a position to kind of help grow this movement with you guys. And yeah, that's really what we're trying to do. That's why we made that documentary with Emphasis, with the Axie team, with the Delphi guys. We are trying to spread the word on play to earn, and I think everyone in the community will will benefit as we grow more of this in the future.
Hey, excellent. Hey, thanks, guys. And again, hang out with us for just a minute. We won't keep you too much longer, but we do need to go through a few other things. And yeah, we're happy for the whole play to earn economy, but I tend to side with Jiho. We want Axie to beat the crap out of everybody else. So that's where we're at. But good luck, everybody else. Yeah, so awesome. And go NFT space. And play to earn if you're doing it freaking right. If you're actually incorporating an economy and having play to earn, I'm all in favor of your game, and I'll probably be interested in it. So, all right, just want to go through a few things again. Hey, we're doing these Axie nights. It's going so great. So excited. Thanks, Dave, for everything you did prior to us coming live, and thanks for hanging out for a little longer than we expected. We've got Cuckoo coming up next, and we're going to keep on pushing this Axie night. We want to keep promoting community members. Some of the community members are just doing incredible. And if we had any part of that, we're just super excited that, that maybe we helped push anybody along. And we just want to see Enjoi and I talked about this when we very first started. So this isn't anything new, but, we wanted more Axie information. We wanted to be able to have more, discussions about Axie. It's our passion. It's what we're interested in. And so that's why we started this, is because there just wasn't enough Axie information out there. Now they're starting to get more. Very pleased, very happy to see more stuff out there from the community. This was exciting news. The slide I have up for people listening to the podcast, Odin messaged me just before. Discord hit 88,000 members. So that's 10,000 new members in the last week.
Even,
That's insane.
maybe not more than that, but the Axie Infinity Twitter posted about 40 minutes ago that we just hit 65,000 daily active users.
Oh my
God. That's actual players. That's crazy.
That's incredible, because the last number I saw was what was it? I think it was just like 51 or something like that. 65,000?
65,000 today, yeah.
Wow, yes. Right on. Here we go. Yeah, buckle up, everybody, because this is going to be a rocket ship ride. We get seeing almost 10,000 in a week. We were talking about this last week, and we'll continue to talk about it. We talked about when we hit 10,000 and how that was amazing, because that kind of gave us the credibility. It got us to the point where there's a credibility for Axie that doesn't go away with 10,000 users. With 10,000 in a week, oh my gosh, rocket ship ride. Everybody get freaking ready. We're headed somewhere cool. I had way more shout outs that I wanted to give this week, but here's a couple. Bryson, man, you're just killing it. I love Bryce. I love what he's doing. Keep it up, man. People have heard the term giver's gain. Bryce is definitely one of those people. He's on there giving and making it work for people, getting people scholarships, getting people Axies. So cool. Same with Z and Indus. Wanted to shout them out as well. The Axie Arena every Sunday for us. For me, it's Sunday morning. I'm not sure what it is Indus time, and we'll just call it that from now on. Indus time. So pretty awesome. Great projects. Support these projects, please. Let's keep doing this, because the more we support projects like this, the more projects we're going to have, and the cooler this space gets, the better it gets, the more diverse it gets. I love it. I just have to go back to this stuff with Cloud. So just before, I think this was just in the last day or two, 3 amazing Axie tattoos. All of these people, they talk to Cloud White, they get cream. They're basically getting paid. These are free tattoos, basically, with the cream that they're receiving. Cloud, just keep innovating, man. I love seeing what you're doing. I love these ideas. Like, he takes an origin Axie and turns it into something that we see with, multiple mystics and the Agamo Genesis Axies. Cloud is awesome. Keep it up, buddy. I freaking love it. This week I have to get, so every even episode, we're on episode 40. I'm giving a shout out to a community developer. This isn't to forget any. We're going to get to every community developer that we possibly can. but one that's current, one that's on our minds right now, one that we see every freaking minute. We want to see it every half a minute. We want to see it every second. Is Ouchie and the bot that he's created. He's also created some other great tools. You do the Gib stats if you haven't seen that one, and throw your Ethereum address, and you get great stats for your account, like your win rate. Gives you stuff from Axie Zone, gives you how much SLP you have. It's an incredible tool. So wanted to shout out to Ouchie. The challenge here is I'm going to give him a 5-axis tip in the Discord server. If you can give him a tip, give him a tip. If you can't give him a tip, give him a follow. Make sure you show him some love. Ouchie's doing great things for the community, and it's time for us to even up with some of these community developers. All right, well.
This reminds me, I need to push the tip bot on Ronin so people can tip and receive AXS cheaply.
I wonder who our next, one of our next community developers is going to be. Anyway, so
you should have Clumsier. You should have Clumsier and Axie World represent.
Yeah, we'll get Clumsier. We'll get someone named Owl too, for sure. There's amazing things that are happening, and again, so much of this digital nation will rise, and it will rise because people are willing to do things like Owl, Clumsier, and Ouchie, and all these folks that are out here. We've got Gabby and Z, been giving back to the community, doing it just to help the community go, help the community grow. And that's why this is not a question. This is a certainty, because we have that type of people. We have that level of people in the community that are willing to be givers and make things happen. So very excited. And I got to shout out Kagi one more time, because he's been talking about play to earn, and he's getting upset with a few projects out there. Don't blame him one bit. But when you create a system like Axie Infinity has, where it literally can reward people for playing that system, and they're not just trying to grab all the profits and bring them all back to themselves as the development company, that's when cool stuff happens. And that's why the community loves this. That's why we're excited about it, is because the people who are creating this game understand that allowing people to earn and to be able to grow from something like this, that's how we get a revolutionary concept happening. And that's where we're headed with this. All right. So, guys, I've had such a great time. I'm so very happy that we were able to get the YGG folks here. Before we ended up, we always like to, give you guys one more chance to give a quick shout out. Anybody you want to acknowledge specifically, or anything you want to do, feel free. Go.
Yeah, I'll go really quick. Just shout out to the YGG Guild, everyone that's interacting there on a day-to-day basis. We have a ton of channels in there. If you haven't already, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. We have other channels for different games, and also a quick shout out to the whole not only Axie Infinity team, but the YGG team as well. There's a lot of people, other than Gabby, myself, and Owl, that help out with YGG on a day-to-day basis. So just shout out to all of those people.
Al, anything else?
That's hard to say. I wanna shout out. You mentioned Ouchie, and I want to shout out to all the devs that are trying to do something, or want to be devs. To get up there. Like people with when they play Clumsier. You just got to do stuff. Just build something. If someone says, "Oh, this should exist," and you think you have what it takes, just do it. You never know where you can go. This is where I started, and look where I am today. So, Freak indeed, another dev.
And we had
nice Freak.
Freak was our last even up. So if you think about Freak, send him a tip too.
Yes. So as I said, just build something. This is where it starts, and you can definitely build something even bigger later on.
Thanks, Al. Gabby?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to our community members who've really been carrying the flag for YGG. People like Fallen, who's here in the chat. Cuckoo, who's coming up right next. Just so many people that have been so awesome, just helping newcomers in the YGG Discord, even in our Facebook groups, making people feel comfortable playing Axie and the other games. YGG would be nothing without its.
Thanks, Gabby. Enjoi.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We've got a nice showing as always. Got some solid fans in the chat. Thanks to YGG for coming out. Thanks for Dave versus Axie for taking us in, and for Cuckoo for finishing up the party tonight. Guys, as always, we do this every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're starting the show at 7 p.m. Eastern with whatever streamer wants to jump in and really just get the experience or grow their audience or whatever. So if you guys have interest in being part of this and helping grow the community, give us a message and we'll be happy to add you in. I think next week's book, the following week's book, we're getting busy. We've got some cool things coming up. So, definitely throw your names out there. But thanks everybody for coming out tonight.
Yeah, everybody, hey, hang in there. Cuckoo's coming up next for sure. We're excited to send it over to him. And everybody, hey, Axie hard. Have a great day in Lunasia. Take care.
Take care, everybody.